An excerpt from Chapter 8, Painting a Mirage. As I walked through the dark, silent space with all life completely shut out by thick blackout curtains, I felt I was being watched. I could not see where I was going, so I stretched out my arms to feel any obstacles before bumping into them. I could hear my own amplified breathing. Then I was startled by a voice that randomly exclaimed, "Hello, gorgeous!" But I could not see who said it. Before I could figure out who was speaking to me, another voice further along the room said, "Shut up, you silly bitch." The conversation seemed to arouse further movement in the room, then more voices, joined by high-pitched trills, screeches, and weird vocalizations. There was no visible television. Was I dreaming? Consumed by a fear of darkness, I increased my pace in a disoriented manner, then bumped into cold metal cage bars, which turned on motion sensor lighting, dimly illuminating the room to reveal a pandemonium of parrots on the left-hand side of the room, bickering away at each other. There must have been at least 20 of them. I'd only ever seen parrots on television, and had never considered that such animals actually existed in real life. In utter shock, I sprung to the other side of the room, where I jolted into a cage harboring a parliament of large owls. A few of them shifted slightly to recalibrate their comfortable sitting position, swiveling their heads from left to right. One of them, an enormous horned fowl, with yellow piercing eyes, eyeballed me with a stare that made me scream and run back to the patient's room. I found them laughing their head off. They had been watching me on camera. I was afraid of birds because I'd been attacked by a fowl when I was around 6 years old during a school holiday when I'd gone to visit Mbuya in Chile. She had asked me to go and pick freshly laid eggs from a chicken run, a routine that had taken me a while to get accustomed to. That morning, the chicken must have discerned my feigned confidence as I walked in and nervously picked the warm eggs, placed them on a small red basket, and briskly walked out. It must have got fed up with laying eggs that were taken away from it unceasingly. I had sensed imminent danger as the chicken fattened itself, then paced in circles with its wings spread out in readiness to take flight. Before I could escape, the bird abruptly took off and landed on my shoulders, then launched a pecking frenzy on my head, but it was too late to break free unscathed. All the while screeching, its wings flapped onto my face to disorient me as I ran out of the chicken run with the eggs intact in my little basket. There was no one in sight to rescue me, and even if there was, they would have laughed at the spectacle first before trying to help. In the end, I resolved the eggs were not worth it, so I dropped the basket and ran for dear life. The chicken flew off my head as soon as I dropped its eggs, and I never went back into the chicken run. My phobia for all birds was born that day. Owls, on the other hand, brought a completely different dimension of fear to my being. The birds were widely linked to evil, death, misfortune, and many other superstitions during my upbringing in Zimbabwe, so I simply did not want to be anywhere near them.